Hey, what's up, Street Talks? Derek from the Street Photography Blog. So one thing I want to share with you is this notion of progress. So progress is one of those weird things that a lot of people in photography and entrepreneurship often ask me. It's like, oh, how do I know if I'm progressing as a photographer, or how do I know if I'm making progress in life? And the question is interesting to me because it infers that if you cannot quantify your progress, that somehow you are lesser and you're wasting your life. And this is the problem with progress, is that you could always gain the notion of progress based on whatever metrics you use. And generally speaking, I'm kind of anti-quantified self because I don't think one can or should attach a numerical value on your own self-worth or your ideas. And I want to use a thought experiment. So the first idea is this: can you actually progress in life without actually measuring your progress? For example, and this is my example. So let's say every single day you did chin-ups and you kept doing them until you're tired. You do this every single day and you eat lots of meat and bacon on the sides. Afterwards, after about a year, the question is, from when you started until a year later, are you going to be able to do more chin-ups and are your biceps going to be bigger? Obviously the answer is yes, you're gonna be able to do more chin-ups, you're gonna have bigger arm muscles, so in fact you've made progress. And when I say progress, I'll just mean the basic concept of from point 1 to point 2, whether there's an increase of strength or power. And so obviously you could progress in life without measuring it. And the strange thing is, a lot of people think to themselves, how do I know if I'm progressing? The question should be, and I think a more important question is actually, does it even matter? Does it even matter whether you're progressing or not? Let's say you don't progress. So let's say you hit an imaginary plateau. Does it even matter? I don't know. I don't think it really does, because let me give you another gym example. So there's a story of a guy who deadlifted or squatted 300 pounds until age 70, let's say, and he plateaued at 300 pound squat. And some people said, oh, aren't you depressed that you plateaued at 300? And it's like, no, I'm getting older and therefore my bones are getting weaker. In fact, I'm getting even though my squat number 300 is consistent, technically I'm maintaining my strength, or if in fact getting stronger, because as I get older I'm getting weaker. And I think the notion of progress, it creates a lot of strange mania between people, because people get they get so depressed when they're like, oh, I've hit a plateau, or I'm not making progress. And it's like, no, maybe a better way to think about it is, every moment in the day, are you meaningfully using your time, your life, putting forth your effort into what you believe in? And I think that's more important than even measuring yourself and tracking yourself. And this is actually even the irony, is that even with money, savings, and financial things, the less I track my money, or the less I worry about my progress in money, the more of it I just tend to accumulate. Similar thing is at the gym. I used to be a religious tracker of my workouts, my sets, my weights, my how many minutes I rested in between, whatever. I don't track none of that no more. I just go to the gym, and the only thing I try to remember is how many plates I put on each side and the colors of the weights. And every single time I work out, I just try to add a little bit more weight. And it's very simple. Generally, my rough goal is every single week I just try to add a 2.5 pounder additional on each side, so that's another 5 pounds a week. And so in theory, if you add 5 pounds a week to your deadlift every single week, and that's not always going to happen. In theory, you could increase whatever weight by 250 pounds, and obviously that's not going to happen. But it's honestly, I think rather than worrying about your progress, just think of yourself am I pushing myself? Am I pushing my limits? Am I afraid? Am I not afraid of pushing my limits? And progress this is also the funny thing with progress too, is like when you say progress, what do you really mean? It's like your progress from yesterday to today, your progress from a month ago to today, a progress from a year ago to today, a progress from 5 minutes ago to now. So like this notion of progress is a very modern one, and I think it's something that people get way too nerdy about. So I even have a thought experiment or an idea. What if we remove the notion of progress from our vocabulary? Like what if the word itself didn't exist, or what if we didn't even like care? I think most of us would just be happier. In fact, we'd probably be more productive. I'll give you another example. A lot of writers or bloggers or vloggers, whatever, they set these kind of goals like, oh, I must write 1,000 words a day, and I have to track my progress as a writer by counting how many words I am. And I used to do stuff kind of like that, and set myself some arbitrary goals in terms of like, I must do this and I must track my progress. And the irony is that once I stopped tracking my progress or stopped tracking my productivity, I actually became more productive. Like even now in the past I would struggle to write even one blog post every 2 or 3 days because I would just, I think, overthink it. Now I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna write or produce or make stuff whenever I feel like it. And by taking the pressure off of me and by not tracking my progress, I've actually become more productive. And generally speaking, when I say productive, I mean just like making stuff. So whether blog posts, videos, photos, whatever. So yeah, just stop tracking yourself, stop quantifying yourself. Don't even think about progress, don't even worry about it. So once again, if people say, oh Eric, how do I know if I'm making progress in my photography? Just don't even think about it. Just be like, do I still enjoy making photos? Am I having fun? Am I challenging myself? Is it still interesting for me? If anything, the best way to track progress is just avoid boredom. Because I think once you start getting bored of doing whatever you do, it just means that you're not challenging yourself. So keep pushing your limits, keep challenging yourself. Let's remove the word progress from our vocabulary, and to know that have faith in yourself, you're on the right path. Peace out.